G'day everyone, part 2 on building this 300ZX VG30 DETT here at home. We're doing everything at home and we're doing everything by the book where we can. So we'll go through every torque spec, we'll make sure every bolt and washer is in the right spot and all the things we need to look out for when building an engine like this. In the last video we fitted the pistons and the crank, so in this video we will fit the oil pickup, we'll fit the sump and the rear main seal, the 2 cylinder heads, we'll fit the 4 camshafts, and we'll fit this half of the intake as well. Let's get started. Let's see how we go. We'll go through everything by the book as closely as we possibly can at home. Okay, so the first thing we need to do is fit that pickup tube. Make sure it's clean and there is an O-ring on the flange. Make sure we use a new O-ring or the old one is in very good condition. We have 2 M8 bolts on the flange and there's a couple of M6 bolts just holding it steady on that brace. The torque for them M6s are 8 Newton meters and the M8s are 20 Newton meters. Just make sure we torque them all down evenly and then we can go ahead and fit this rear main seal before we fit the sump. Now my rear main seal was very, very tight. I expected it to come out fairly easily and it was, for the most part, it was glued in. So I had to kind of break it open and get it out this way. And then I cleaned all the glue from the inside of that housing. No scratches or scars or anything. I was very careful, but just be mindful of that. Some may be glued in. I don't know if people do that, but in this case, I'll be fitting the new one with the hard side, the solid side facing out and the spring side to the oil. And I'll be fitting it without any glue or anything crazy like that. It fits really nicely and it went home without much effort at all. So make sure that crankshaft is nice and clean. You can use a little bit of Scotch-Brite to buff out any imperfections on that sealing surface. And I am going to use a little bit, just a skim film of gasket maker behind this gasket just to take out any imperfections in the block. I'll put a little bit on the other side of the gasket as well, of course. A little bit of oil on that rear main seal and a tiny bit of oil on that crankshaft seal area. And then we can go ahead and push that rear main on fairly easily. That oil helps wipe away that excess oil. And then we can pull it home with the 4 bolts. There's 4 little M6 bolts that hold that down and they are torqued to 7 Newton meters according to the book. 7 Newton meters, 5 foot-pounds. Just nip them up nice and evenly, pull that bracket in, and then we can prep everything for fitting the sump. Now you see there is a little bit of gasket material left over on the oil pump and it's the same on the rear main as well. You just scrape that away just to make sure that we don't have any leaks. Now the front and rear seals I'm holding here, they are different sizes and we are going to glue them down. According to the book, we want to put glue or gasket maker, flange sealant, whatever you want to call it, in the corners of those 2 rubber gaskets. Now the small one goes to the front and there's a little keyway to get it the right way around. And of course we do use that gasket maker to hold the corners down as per the book on either side of that rubber gasket. And of course we're going to do the same for the rear one as well. Just a little bit of gasket maker in the corners just to make sure we don't have any leaks. That's pretty standard practice. Normally where we have a fairly hard corner, it is an opportunity to leak. So of course we'll use a little bit of gasket maker. I'm doing a little bit extra here just along that line where the main seal retainer meets the block just to take out any imperfections there as well. Just a little bit extra gasket maker, but of course we are going to glue the sump on entirely anyway. And we're going to use quite a bit of gasket maker. As you can see here, I've got a big caulking gun full of it and I'm going to go around all the bolts on the inside face. And I'm actually going to go around on the outside as well later as well, just to make sure that we have no leaks. I'm being fairly liberal with it, but I'm not too worried if we have any excess. I really want to make sure this sump isn't going to leak. And the only thing standing between us and a leaky sump is this gasket maker. So make sure we get it on nice and evenly. There's no gaps and we cover every section that needs sealing. Of course, make sure the sump face is nice and clean and free of any silicone or anything from last time. And make sure it's all nice and flat as well. It hasn't been over torqued in any places and it should pull down nicely. I'm pulling it all down with a speed brace. I'm going to do the 2 bolts on either side of that curve first just to pull it down and then we'll evenly pull it down with the speed brace before torquing it up to 8 Newton meters. All the bolts, 8 Newton meters. You can do a couple of passes because they will pull down as that gasket maker is pulled through between the 2 flanges. And we just pull it down nice and evenly and then we'll go around in a big circle and torque everything to 8 Newton meters. Now we'll clean off all that excess gasket maker. It's a much more professional job. Get it early. It should wipe off fairly easily. We can flip the block over and we can go ahead and fit that detonation sensor. Now it's 26 Newton meters on that bolt that came out. Make sure you fit it with the plug facing backwards and don't forget it. It's very important. Next, we have the thermostat housing and the heater tube. There's a tube that goes along the length of the block, and we use gasket maker on a nice clean surface to fit that tube to the thermostat housing. You see the flange is facing up. It needs to face up at the back of the engine in order for the tube to go to the heater core in the cabin. M6 bolts once again, and a little bit of gasket maker just to make sure that seals up as per the book. 8 Newton meters once again on them M6 bolts, nice and evenly. We'll pull them down and then we can go ahead and prep the block to fit the thermostat housing. I'm going to use a bit of anti-seize on the 2 bolts. The bolts are very long and they have a tendency to potentially seize in that housing. And we're going to use gasket maker once again on the block. The book says gasket maker. I don't have a gasket for it, and that makes sense. Make sure it's nice and even, and it's going to seal that thermostat housing. You can wipe it around from the inside of the housing as well, just to make sure that everything's going to seal, because it's very hard to get to once it's installed. We've got 2 M8 bolts and 1 M6 at the back to hold that P-clamp. Put them all in by hand first, make sure everything's comfortable, and then we'll torque those 2 bolts, the 2 M8s, to 20 Newton meters, and the M6 at the back, once again, we'll torque that down to the 8 Newton meters, or just nip it up if you don't have a torque wrench that small. Kind of get a feel for how much an M6 needs, and it's not a lot. We have all the head bolts here. I've lined them up, I've cleaned them. We're going to oil under the head of the bolts. I am reusing my bolts, and we're going to oil under the washer as well. So oil under the head, oil under the washer, and oil down the thread. We have 2 shorter bolts. 2 of the bolts are shorter, and the book will actually tell us which way around the washer goes. We have the rounded side facing up. You can usually tell from a witness mark on the washer. You can see that is the head of the bolt, and the other side is the cylinder head. Make sure that's correct, of course. We have the timing mark to TDC number 1. Make sure we do that before anything. It must be at TDC number 1. Fit the head gasket to a nice clean block. Make sure the head is clean and tidy. Just the gasket, no lubricants, nothing else. And we can fit the head onto the 2 dowels. It should locate exactly. Now that short bolt, there's 1 short bolt on each head. That short bolt goes exactly there, right at the front. The book will tell us where the short bolt goes as well, but just make sure that short bolt goes there on this particular head, and we'll have a look where it goes on the other ones as well. Of course, all the other bolts go in with their washers, a little bit of oil, make sure we've done all that, and we'll wind them all down evenly with a speed brace before following the torque instructions. Now it's 39 Newton meters in this order. You can see we're doing the center first and we work our way out. We start by doing 39 Newton meters on every single bolt, just once on each bolt. And then we crank it up to the next setting as per the book, and we'll torque them up to 123 Newton meters or 90 foot-pounds on the second stage in the same order, starting from the middle, working our way out. Torque them just once, and then we'll go ahead and we'll actually undo every bolt entirely. Just undo them stage by stage, work your way out in the same order, loosen every bolt entirely, and then we'll go through and we'll torque them up again with that 3/8 torque wrench, 39 Newton meters or 30 foot-pounds. We'll torque them 1, 2, 3, 4, the same order, just torquing them once, every single bolt, of course, and then we will move on to the bigger torque again. Now, the book says we can alternatively do them up to 123 Newton meters, or we can torque turn each bolt 70 degrees. I found it to be about the same. 90 foot-pounds was about 70 degrees on the torque wrench anyway, so I just did them to 90 foot-pounds, but there's 2 torque settings for that. Now, of course, there are M6 bolts that go in the corner of each head, and they are torqued up to 12 Newton meters at the end. Just wind them in, and you can basically just nip them up. Same goes for the other head. The torque sequence is the same. Make sure that short bolt, in this case, goes exactly there. That is on the intake side cam of number 6 cylinder. Just make sure it goes there. The book will tell you where the short bolt goes, and the rest just go anywhere. Of course, we also have a small M6 bolt on that one as well. That's all torqued down. The exact same sequence was used to torque it down to the final torque of 90 foot-pounds or 123 Newton meters. Fitting the cams, lots of oil on everything. Oil all the journals, oil all the lobes, and we need to make sure the camshaft is fitted with the dowel facing directly up relative to the head. It's 90 degrees from the surface of the head, as is the exhaust cam as well. There may be a little bit of tightness there because, of course, some valves will want to open. We need to slowly bring the cam down with the caps by hand evenly. We don't want to pull one side of the cap down and then pull the other side down. You can over tighten one side and over tighten on the cam. It's all very bad. So we want to pull them down by hand. Make sure that dowel is facing exactly up and that crank does not move. We want that crank to stay at TDC number 1. Keep that mark lined up. Nothing can move from this point onwards. Once the cams are in, the cams with the dowel facing directly up is TDC number 1. And we want the crank to stay in that position as well. Make sure all them dowels are facing up exactly parallel with the deck of the head. So 90 degrees from the top of the head, straight up and down relative to the surface of the head. The same goes for all 4 cams. You can see here, I'm just slowly bringing them down on the caps nice and evenly before torquing them evenly as well. You can even torque them all down and then loose them one by one, loosen them off a little bit, just to make sure you've done it evenly. We want the cam torqued properly. We don't want it pinching up while it's trying to rotate in that bore. Clean off any of that excess gasket maker. We do need to put gasket maker on either side of the very first flange, like you can see I've done there, just to make sure it doesn't leak. The book does say to put gasket maker just between that join, only on the front one for that reason. And of course, we'll fit the exhaust cam the same way. You see I've cleaned it up with a little bit of Scotch-Brite on that seal area. It may be a little bit rusty like mine was. Check that seal area for pitting. Mine was very good. Of course, on the intake cam, the seal area is actually on the gear. Once we're happy with that, of course, the dowel facing up, this exhaust cam stay in there very well. Obviously, nothing is opening, no valves pushing against that cam as much as they were in the intake. A little bit of gasket maker, this time on the cap. I find that a little bit easier. Squish that down, of course, and we'll pull all that down and torque each one of them caps evenly to that 11 Newton meter spec or 8 foot-pounds. Very even. It's very important we get that torque right. We don't want to over torque these caps on these cams. They've got to be evenly torqued and torqued up to spec 11 Newton meters. Of course, if the cams move a little bit or you can't get them exactly right, like you can see with the spanner there, I'm just doing a fine adjustment to get them perfectly centered before torquing everything down. When it comes to fitting the seals, cleaned up that seal area on that exhaust cam earlier. It doesn't touch the intake cam, as you can see, there's a big gap. We're going to do the spring to the oil and the hard face facing out, and they go in pretty easily. It should go in fairly evenly and easily. You can push them in by hand pretty much. I'm using a fairly large socket here. I think it's a 41mm socket. We're just going to tap the seals home nice and evenly until they're flush with the face of that cylinder head. Now, next up, very importantly, we have the pigtail harness to fit to the detonation sensor. You can either put it through the casting in the back of the manifold and plug it in so it sticks out through the manifold, or in my case, you can plug it in and have it pop out the back. Doesn't really matter either way, just make sure we plug it in. There's 2 types of gasket for the intake manifold and the heads. We have the later style. You can see the ports are much bigger and they're a different shape. Doesn't quite fit. And we have the OEM early model one, this one that is steel with the rubber inserts. That's the one I'm going to use. That is for the early models up to about 1993. We use that type of gasket. So we can fit the gaskets to the head, as you can see here on either side, 2 gaskets, 2 heads. And then we drop the manifold in the middle. I've put some anti-seize on the studs and the manifold should drop straight in and seal against those 2 gaskets. We have some special washers here. You can see the way I'm fitting them on the bolts. They're a multi-layer washer, and I fitted in the way they came out with the solid side facing down and the kind of open side facing up. Put a bit of anti-seize on all the bolts, drop them all in, and the book does say to pull them down nice and evenly. They give you a first torque of 3 to 5 Newton meters on everything. In my case, 3 to 5 Newton meters. I'm just going to pull them down with the speed brace evenly. That's the whole point of this. Bring it down nice and even. It's important to get it even. Then we can torque them up to the spec of 20 Newton meters or 14 foot-pounds for all of the bolts. You can see I'm using a torque wrench for that. And then we can torque the nuts to a higher spec. So it's 20 Newton meters for all the bolts on your second torque once you've pulled them down to 3 to 5. And the nuts are a little bit higher at 27 Newton meters. Okay, well that's it for this stage. We've pretty much got a long engine here. Next video, we'll fit these rocker covers, we'll fit the fuel injectors, and we'll do the timing gears as well. But for now, that will do me. Thank you very much for watching. I hope it's been helpful to your build. I look forward to the next one.